All right. Let's go to because, hey, it wouldn't be uh, a sports betting show if you didn't talk about the Colorado Buffaloes at home against the Stanford Cardinal. And Colorado here is a double digit favorite against Stanford. Okay, well, I get it. Maybe we're moving back into, you know, where Colorado feels more comfortable laying double digits. Hello to Who Banging here today, talking about that Fresno game. He's got Fresno laying it on the road. Looks like we got a challenge, big boss. Well, you know me. I'm just grabbing those points. That's all there is to it. You know we could. You know you're gonna be on some home dogs more often than not. I'll respect the Fresno State play. Hey, here comes Blake with his comment already on this game. Double digits with Colorado with that defense. Not me. Take Stanford. But Solo says, why is everyone taking Stanford? So two different two different opinions right there, right now already. Look, it was a bye week for Stanford, and it's a short week for Colorado. So that's what sharps look for anyway, right? I mean, I don't want to say that Solo. Uh, Look, we're not square here in our chat. We've got one of the most sophisticated chats on sports gambling YouTube. But there is a little bit there as far as that's concerned with Stanford coming off a bye, and you know they probably could use it. They weren't really scoring. They weren't really doing much before that. They'd only scored 59 points in their last four games. So, good question. Why are they? Why is everybody taking Stanford? No, the move has definitely come in. I would say here, you look at the line movement of this game. I mean, it opened as low as mostly 11, but I mean, Circa tried to get cute and went to 9. So, and it looks like Hu Bangin said that Stanford, they have a high ceiling there and they maybe can wiggle out and get a cover here. Don't fade Colorado, though, at home at this point. And here's what I'm thinking on this one, Big Boss, is that um, short week, the Friday, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going to be pretty electric. It is Friday night and not a Saturday. I don't. It may be the maybe the Friday night will be even more electric. Maybe that's the way it's going to be. But it did, like I said, does shorten the week for the Buffs, where Colorado has had that week to that extra week here. Solo is on Colorado, showing a lot of movement here actually. To uh, Solo lists it there at 11 and a half. I'm listing it at 12, but uh, and again, my pick here is going to be on Stanford, and I'll leave it at 12. Maybe I could even pull it back to 11 and a half to try to be fair, but actually, to be honest, we're seeing some 12 and a half starting to hit the market here. Circa is currently at 12 and a half, and so is Bovada. DraftKings still hanging out at 11 and a half. So it looks like we'll just end on 12, and that's where I kind of put it here, whether or not there'll be, much movement. So, but, I don't go in. One thing I don't do, even though it's something that I pay more attention to than uh, most anybody. I mean, anybody who's picking game, right? Some people look in, and there's always a discussion about ticket counts and handle, and of course, I'm all about ticket count. I'm not about handle. And again, you don't trust those numbers. And I saw one of my favorite cappers yesterday on the internet talking about it, saying, that one of the things that's kind of misleading, and that's why I use a line service where they have a compilation or a consensus of those numbers, at least the closest you can get it. Anyway, that's what you pay for. But sometimes when you're looking at some of the free sites, right? So, for example, one of the popular sites only lists the betting splits from one particular book. Well, you know what happens if some people, a lot of people, might have more than one book, especially when you're talking about two books. And you might be talking about the two biggest books in the country, the FD book and the DK book. And if the FD book is laying a -7 and the DK book is laying is has a 7.5, well, guess what? That's going to help the percentage of tickets and handle at -7.5 at book A, while book B is going to be heavy to the underdog because they've got the 7.5. So when you have a discrepancy like that, that's what occurs, and so that sometimes throws it off. Now, I'm not saying subscribe to the services or whatever. You can get some consensus. You might have to look around, but anyways, so Solo said, "Why is everybody in Stanford?" And I think so to help Solo on this one a little. I'm not, Solo's their own person, but uh, the move right appears to be like the sharp move maybe here. Uh, Not necessarily the line move. It keeps going up right now, and maybe it is reflective of what we actually are seeing. Not to condescend against Solo, but uh, my consensus numbers do show that about 2/3 of the money and the action is actually on Colorado. I feel like it is the public side actually. Uh, I don't think there's gonna be many people, other than people like me on Stanford. So it should be an exciting night. Hello to Rim Most here as well. And Double says that total has gone up to 60. And Solo says that uh, Shador will have time. How about his numbers? I mean, 2,000 yards already. Uh, just so impressive so far. But you just wish, you know, that you had Hunter. Not that it's they like I said, they've got a lot of a lot of talent, and I think that to a certain extent, maybe Colorado still ends up a little bit on the short end, a little bit because there's enough people out there willing to, kind of say, hey, this is fluky or whatever. It's not really. They went out and got, you know, like I said, most of the teams, if they were heavily affected by the transfer portal, they were bringing in, maybe 10 guys. Not Stanford, with their huge, bringing in the 80 or whatever, and Texas State bringing in 40 or whatever it was. Those two teams were head and shoulders above. So uh, Cardinals right now in a pretty funky run of a record here at 7 wins and 22 losses in their last 29 games, and they've even lost to Sacramento State. So I don't know if I can try to tout you on try to uh, push my pick over on you on this one, but in conference, I'm going to take 12 points here with Stanford tonight, and Colorado at home, averaging 40 points a game, certainly right now. Now, they did, in their losses, they gave up big points, but double digit favorite here, certainly. No Hunter. Colorado, terrible against the spread in conference of late, but probably not going to, because of the turnover there. So, but just what Colorado's been able to do is impressive. The coordinator, think of all these. The coordinator came from Kent State, the offensive coordinator. So Stanford just 10-25 against the spread in conference of late. 2-8 as a road underdog. I'm almost trying to push myself off this play, giving you some of these trends, but uh, I'm still taking Stanford here to hang in there in this one. And I just, when I look at the Pac 12, I feel like it is very deep. I feel like the conference is having a great year. I don't think it's a fluke. Yeah, is Stanford, you know, bottom of the barrel here in conference? Maybe. Could it be a spot for Colorado? Uh, not at their best. That's what I feel because of Stanford, the full 2 week prep, and Colorado having to play a Friday night, a 6 day week. So playing a little bit of angle there, I think, for me. All right, Stanford. Uh, Their win came against Hawaii, which hasn't looked good, but Hawaii, the one thing Hawaii does is pass the ball very, very well. And they held them to 24 points. A big difference, I understand, between Hawaii and Colorado at this point, but definitely a passing, both pretty prolific passing teams.